It's good to be here. I'm Valerie Gasco. I am a 52-year-old woman, born and raised in the state of Vermont. I'm a walker, a reader, a knitter, traveler, a baseball fan, a baker, a cook, a singer, and a dancer, at least in my car in my living room. I'm a wife, a mother, a daughter, a sister, a niece, an aunt, a cousin, and a friend. I mention these because every interaction I have with my students in my middle school is constructed from all these different parts of who I am. The same is true, of course, for them in their interactions with me. I believe that effective teaching results from connections and partnerships. I'm the special educator for Team Sojourn at Riverside Middle School in Springfield. We've restructured recently into multi-age teams that loop with our students for all 3 years. I teach small group specialized instruction in reading, spelling, and math. And I also work with my teammates as we've developed co-teaching partnerships in general curriculum math and English classes. These relationships are very fluid at this point, ranging from supportive team teaching to full-on team teaching models depending on the needs of our students. After 3 years, it's an honor to have a visitor to one of our classrooms struggle to distinguish between the regular ed students and their classmates with identified learning disabilities. As a teacher, I have found that my first responsibility is to build and maintain trust with my students, and trust grows out of personal connections. My own childhood experiences with poverty and family stress gave me an insight, and I have a common experience with many of my students. And I believe that part of the teaching and learning relationship is to let my kids see who I really am. If sharing is relevant and they're receptive to it, I'm very frank with students about that part of my life. I learned early on that education would be my ticket to a successful future, and I tell my students that it can be their ticket too. I believe every student has a right to be held to high standards of achievement and to be personally accountable for learning and behavior. I explain to my students that it's my job to teach them, and it's their job to do the work to improve their skills and understanding. If improvement isn't evident, then we need to talk. What are we each going to do to help things move forward? There's a fine line between empathizing and enabling. We don't do our students any favors by letting them off the hook, academically and behaviorally, because of challenging personal circumstances. As I learned from my parents and teachers, there's power in knowing that someone understands the difficulties one faces and still believes in one's ability to persevere and succeed despite that. However, I don't believe full participation in the general curriculum works for every student, and statewide tests don't provide relevant and useful data to inform the instruction for every student. The truth is that some kids learn at a very different pace from the norm. It's our job as educators to implement a continuum of instructional and assessment programs that truly addresses the diverse needs of the students before us in our classrooms every day. As professionals, we must provide each student the opportunity to achieve his or her personal best along that continuum. Curriculum and instruction should be a work in progress. It can't be pursued in a vacuum. I believe that school, community, communication, and partnership are crucial to improving our schools. My personal life experience have taught me that a rigorous and compassionate educational system provides not only opportunities for building knowledge and setting goals, but also for self-realization and connections to others. The question is, in what ways can we begin and sustain community involvement in our schools so that families have faith that education can make a real difference? How can we create the sense that all of us, parents, business leaders, churches, social service organizations, and our schools, are responsible for successfully and safely raising the children in our communities? We must deal with the dramatically changing world in which our young people are growing up. At increasingly younger ages, our children are bombarded with information and images at an alarming rate from an array of media every day. Years of research have shown that the damage caused by the overexposure to violence, sexism, and prejudice that pervade much of our popular media. Combined with these negative messages is the fact that increased engagement with media for recreation results in less time spent with family, peers, and being active in our great outdoors. We must use technological advancements to make true, daily, global involvement possible right from our classrooms. It's no longer our task to give information, but rather to teach children how to efficiently access it, effectively manage it, and responsibly use it. We must teach our children to be savvy and discriminating consumers of media in all its forms, and to maintain a healthy balance of individual and social activities, both indoors and out. Schools, parents, communities, government, and the media must work together to put our children first and commit ourselves to building a 21st century partnership.